There's not an old, in the Hebrew Bible and, you the Bible in its entirety, there's no concept of the modern concept of hell, this idea of a devil and a pitchfork and, literal flames of fire and things like that. This is a combination of misunderstanding the literature of Revelation and then copying and pasting that with Dante in the 13th century, and then revivalism in the 19th and 20th century. We have a tendency to assume that how Christianity is presented today is how it's always been believed or practiced, and that's not always the case. And that's the same thing with hell. And Moses and Abraham and Noah and all those guys, none of them were afraid of being tormented in hell, for eternity. I mean, obviously there was sacrifice for your sins because they're committing literal actual sacrifices, but the life and the dynamic that they were focused on was one that was very earthy, that was in the here and now. I mean, there's only a couple of folks like Enoch and Elijah that even go, and I guess Moses, that like are even described as going to heaven. The afterlife in the Hebrew Bible is just radically different than anything that we think of, and that's critical for understanding, because it's the sort of mentality Jesus would have had, because Jesus was a Jew in the first century. And so yeah, I think that's a point that is criminally underlooked, and one that I don't think about enough, that these people still found a healthy relationship, with God, a productive relationship with God, and one that they thought was worth pursuing and worth following without the threat of hell. And that should definitely be a gut check for how we understand the gospel today.